How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffle Rallet, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, guys, we have another rumor sort of video to talk about, and I want to just point this out really quickly before we get into this, guys. You gotta differentiate rumors from leaks. Now, leaks are usually real, and when it's an actual leak, not like a rumor leak, but an actual leak, and that comes directly from a company, related to the actual games that we're talking about, then we can consider it somewhat real, and we can, speculate on it more. But when it's simply a rumor, you can't really take it at face value. You need to take it with a pinch of salt and actually realize that it could all be fake, but at the same time, you should not dismiss it because there could be something real within it. So today we have a post here back from 2014. This was almost 4 years ago. It's a very old post, right? And this is a very important post because it relates to things we're hearing right now, and also it talks about a Pokemon game for the next generation of Nintendo consoles. And what was the next generation after, ORAS came out that same year? What was the next thing that we would get a few years later in 2017, or actually 3 years later in 2017? Well, it was the Nintendo Switch. That was the next-gen Pokemon console. So, we're going to go through this post here. We're going to relate it to the Italian leaks, which you guys may know about. We're going to relate it to that and see how they fit together. So, let's get started, guys. Now, next-gen Pokemon games called Plus and Minus. Now, I'm going to point something else quickly right here, guys. These names can change over time. Like, I don't think they're going to ever be called Plus and Minus. If anything, Plus and Minus may just have been code names for the games, and also maybe they could have even been the real names, the confirmed names, but those things change over time. There's always moments where the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, and whatnot can change the names over time into something different, so keep that in mind. Either way, so, a rumor has been circulating the internet regarding the next installment in the Pokemon franchise. The next iteration of Pokemon games are supposedly called Pokemon Plus and Minus, and are apparently in development for a future Nintendo platform. See, a future Nintendo, this was 4 years ago, right? Keep in mind, 4 years ago was when this was actually posted, in 2014. And even then, back then, there was rumors about, a Pokemon game being worked on for this next generation of Pokemon consoles, an official main series game. So, to be fair, the rumor sounds rather far-fetched, but Dual Pixels claims their source has been proven correct in the past. You can read about the details about the mysterious project below, so you can actually enter here to this website and you can actually read more about the info, and they actually talk about how they claim this to be real. So we'll go through that really quickly, and then we're going to look through the actual leaks. So, a source that Dual Pixels has taken information from in the past, called Geno, has claimed to have received information on the next Pokemon games. He claims that they will be dubbed Pokemon Plus and Minus, and has provided us with following information. This comes from the same guy who leaked Castlevania Mirrors of Fate being console-bound, the Kingdom Hearts HD remix, and countless information on E3. Not all of these rumors have come true. Despite this, a large amount of the key ones, such as our leak about the first and third-party titles for E3, were apparently real. Stay tuned, and, he has told us updating information regarding this rumor are on the way. So, either way, please keep in mind that this could all just be it could be true right now, but also false. But it could all change by tomorrow, because that is how the gaming industry works. The reason that I put this up is because I see truth in this. Also, the featured image above is not supposed to be a screenshot. It's just a concept art made by an Unreal Engine developer, which is referring to this image. So he's just pointing out. Keep in mind that that image has nothing to do with this whole game and whatnot. Now, this is the actual information we've gotten. I'm going to go through all this info and essentially reiterate it for you guys. If you want to actually go and read this on your own, I'm going to link it down below. But if you want to just sit through and, hear my opinions on every one of these, and how I'm going to, relate these back to the new leaks, or the new, not really leaks, but rather the rumors we've been getting from the Italian leaker or whatever. So either way, let's get started. Now, Game Freak were one of the first development studios inside Nintendo to receive alpha prototype hardware. Now, they have been upgraded to the beta prototype hardware above. Have a few areas marked out, tons of concepts art traveling between the Pokemon Company and Nintendo Company Limited. Let's see, Game Freak plans to completely overhaul the basic system of battle, simplify the process, which is something we've been hearing recently as well from the Chinese rumors and whatnot, and also some part, I think, of the Italian rumor as well, mentioning like a simplification or a change to the battle system. The development team is going to put a lot of ideas they wanted to do for years in this game. 2 versions already codenames, possibly final, could be, again, this could change, which is Pokemon Plus and Pokemon Minus, and this was, again, from 2014. Keep in mind, this is an old-ass post. So, either way, theme is old tradition versus new exploration. This is something we've been hearing all the time. This is something we've even heard from the Italian rumor. We had, that sort of stuff mentioned there as well. Something like old tradition versus new exploration. It's been mentioned so many times. This was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Now, what does this tell us? What does this actually tell us? The fact that we can correlate this to the new rumors. Well, it's two options, right? One, that clearly there was something going on here and they've been working on the game for well over 3 to 4 years now at this point. Or option number two is the person who made the Italian rumors or the Italian leaks, he could have just literally faked it and just looked at old stuff and just been like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, make something dubious here. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna take something from an old, you know, rumor slash leak, and I'm gonna mix it in with something of my own, you know, from now, just so I can make it look more real. It could be that, but it could also be the other option. So again, it's very hard to guess which one it is, because we don't know. Either way, new region, no name yet. It's based on Southeast Asia, with one large peninsula and many smaller islands. This is really weird, right? Because this kind of relates, in a way, to Alola as well, not with the South Asian part, but with the kind of islands, but the peninsula part, the large peninsula, that actually relates to Italian rumors again, because the Italian rumor claims that it's supposed to be some sort of, it's not an island really, per se, the game, where the next game is going to take place, rumored again, but rather that it is some sort of peninsula that connects to a larger landmass, which again, relates back to the Italian leaks, which is really interesting. Now, he mentions 3 new starters here, but there's a lot of information here to go through, but I might as well read it through you guys and see what it has to do. Either way, 3 new starters with no names. Water evolves into Water Steel, is a squat, teardrop-shaped humanoid that has a jar filled with water, I guess, on its head, and it evolves as its tail grows taller, and the jaw gets bigger until it needs another set of arms to hold it on its head. Fire evolves into a fire fairy, and it's a tiny, cute goat with fire blowing out of its horns. Its horns evolves more into a more menacing one until its curly ram-like horns are a motorcycle hot rod-like look. Okay, so grass evolves into a grass electric and starts with a leap for a face with a nubby root as a body, and evolves until it grows into an electric producing palm tree with each flower petal having different faces. Holy moly, that's a lot of information right there. So that's what the starters have to say. Now, the next part here says, the main legendary Pokemon Plus is a Shifu lion-looking psychic ground type and has multiple faces. Now, that is similar to what we have right here, which was a concept art made by Fatmon. Fatmon made this concept art for this sort of Pokemon back then in 2014, right? 4 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, 4 years ago. That's when he made that. So, if you go back here, and the other one says that it's going to be a ghost fairy type that has 2 dashes for eyes, and it's a hurricane-like appendage with many arms and hands. Now again, this is all just rumors. This could all just be BS nothing. I mean, this is from 2014, and they were talking about a potential game for a new, Nintendo platform, aka the Nintendo Switch, all the way back then, and this could all have changed by now. They could have changed things along the way, but clearly, this kind of tells us that they must have been working on something like this for a long-ass time then. Like, it kind of tells us that something like this has been going on for a longer time than not just like a few days or whatever, or not days, sorry, not like a year or two, but rather for a bit of a longer time. At least maybe they haven't made the whole thing, but rather, or maybe they've at this point made it, but maybe back then they didn't create the whole like actual game, but rather concept art and concept were being put together, and they were working with the hardware to see how they were going to, make it work, and so on and so forth. But either way, so let's see. They also mention a more traditional Pokemon-like gameplay with on the handheld controller, while on all new aspects will be on the terminal unit. So this again seems to point again to the Nintendo Switch, which is really weird. Then you have the Pokken Fighters render that was teased was running on alpha kits. Beta kits now have advanced cell shading, going for very detailed, living anime look. See, okay, that's kind of a weird one. The new team villains are described as a bunch of Sohei Zealots types who have discovered the player's best friend as a reincarnation of a special type of person who only is alive every 100 years. To believe the old system where people were given a Pokemon egg and they stick to the Pokemon until they die, and whose function in society dictates the role the person is. They're against the modern trend of Pokemon trainers and capturing multiple Pokemon, and are making a holy pilgrimage to evoke the old legendaries to turn everything back to normal. Now, before we get further down here, now if you want to know what Sohei are, basically Sohei are these sort of holy knights from Japan, basically like these monk warriors that kind of fought for, I don't know, I guess like just a holy war, essentially, in a sense. And they were essentially like samurai holy warriors, essentially, which is a bit of a weird thing to, you know, kind of speculate upon, but kind of an interesting kind of concept, I guess. And also, again, if you guys don't remember, from the Italian leak, the Italian leaker also mentioned something very important. Keep this in mind. There was something about a kind of a Buddha statue in this image that he's shown. It was a Buddha statue, and that's kind of interesting because he mentions there is a stone Slow King statue that is a parody of the reclining Buddha at Wat Pu, Thailand. So that's interesting. That's very interesting that they have like a Buddha, and then you have a Buddha in the Italian rumor as well. And here they say that it's essentially a stone Slow King. Very interesting, quite confusing as well at the same time though. Now, they keep the player away from their friend, saying the special one who can do amazing things like Mega Evolve Pokemon without the use of a Mega Ring. Only love is that of that Pokemon and not the people. It is planned to be revealed later that for the special one to fulfill their role in the society, they must mortally sacrificed to awaken the Legendaries, which is really weird. And also, this kind of friend you know that you have in the game, maybe that relates to the kid in the jungle that we heard about, because there's some kid called Sylvan that you meet in the jungle on this new region, and apparently he's being controlled by the evil team. Again, seems to connect with this team of villains that are essentially controlling or trying to take control of this little kid and give him this one Pokemon egg and whatnot. Then again, this could all just be BS, and the Italian rumor or the Italian leaker could have just like kind of taken information from this and kind of like try to work something new out. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm trying to keep you all like, you know, keep your heads, you know, straightforward so you understand, you know, I mean, like what's going on, so it isn't like, you know, instantly being like, oh yeah, this is all true. Keep in mind, this could all just be BS. Keep that in mind. Either way. Now, next up is many Pokemon from Hoenn and Sinnoh will make a return. Fair enough. A variety of Pokemon gyms. One is one is a male system that uses flying types and focuses on sky battles. One uses baby Pokemon. One is implied to be a real vampire and uses ghost and dark Pokemon. There is also a military-like leader who uses fire and steel Pokemon. This is referring to gyms, which we're assuming gyms will return in the next games, obviously, because I think they're done with the whole Alola thing, with, like, you know, having the island leaders. I think that was just for that game, and now they're going to go to something different, which, again, wouldn't make sense. Now, see, they also mentioned the island gameplay with gym leaders and Elite Four can be played entirely on handheld and can be blown up on the terminal for home play. Now, new Pokemon type similar to Shinies. No details yet on how they work, but we've been told they changed the game significantly. The mainland is an MMO-like environment that is exclusive to the terminal and is shared by both versions, which is very interesting. This is something that I've been kind of thinking about, because when he mentions like an MMO-like environment, the thing that comes to mind to me, because again, they don't want to go, you know, they can't go overboard and they can't make it exactly like an MMO, but what he's referring to is something like Destiny. If you guys haven't played Destiny, Destiny has this kind of social space area where you can meet other players and go around buying things and talking and doing weird emotes and stuff. That's the kind of thing they may be doing here. Kind of similar to what we have like with the Festival Plaza and whatnot in the current games. So it's kind of something like that, which again, it could have been that this was then added into those games, like, you know, Sun and Moon and whatnot, and maybe that won't be in the upcoming game. Again, like, you got to keep in mind, things change in game development. This could have actually been a real thing in the past, but it could have changed over time, and only a few things still remain from the original things here. So, either way, Pokemon Band is a new mechanic, which basically, I guess, introduces people into, like, who don't want to battle into a cooperative experience, where Pokemon dance and make music together to achieve the highest group score, which is fairly interesting. Now, you also do have players all over the world, online, can chat, trade, intermingle, and experience new updated storylines on the mainland, which is this place, like, where people meet. Which, again, you gotta kind of think of this arguably, right? This game is gonna be very different, because, again, the 3DS was limited, the DS was limited, the Game Boy was limited as well. The Nintendo Switch isn't limited. They have so much more to work with. You gotta keep in mind, if you look at specifically, you know, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, those games were a few gigs of size, right? And they still managed to pack a lot of stuff in them, a lot of assets. Imagine what they can do when they have something like, you know, like 5 times that size to work with, you know what I mean, in terms of like gigs to actually put into a specific, you know, single game. There's so much more to work with and so many more capabilities with the new hardware, and clearly it seems like they must have known about it, because again, you gotta keep in mind, guys, the Pokemon Company is owned partially by Nintendo and by Game Freak, and since Nintendo owns a part of it, they have a lot of influence into what Game Freak does. So clearly, since all the Pokemon games from Game Freak go to the Nintendo, you know, consoles and not to any other, we don't see Pokemon games on the, you know, the whatchamacallit, the PlayStation or the Xbox or even on PC, we don't see them there ever officially released because they're only exclusive to Nintendo. And that's also why this makes sense, that they would have given them the hardware, which is the, the alpha prototype or whatever, whatnot of the Nintendo Switch. They would have given that to them early so they could, try to work something out and kind of, be ready for it. And clearly this right here, this post mentions a terminal, right? The terminal which you put your Switch in. And this was from 2014, ladies and gentlemen. 2014. And also right here, you can see an update right here. It says, updated, tweets made by author that expresses that the game isn't necessarily for Wii U, and more information to come within the next 2 days. Right, this makes sense. This makes so much sense in my honest opinion. Clearly, after the Wii U was a total flop when it came out, they must have already started working on a new different thing to see how that would work out. So clearly, that's what ended up happening. But then again, who knows about this, guys? This could all just be nothing. This could be a giant nothing burger. But I would love to know your opinions, guys, because again, this all relates really well back to the Italian rumor. And I may do another video on the Italian rumor just to go through it again and look through all the specific things and how they relate to each other. And if there's anything there that kind of shows us that it's maybe BS and it actually isn't real. I would love to know your opinions, guys, though. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this? Do you think this holds any merit? And keep in mind, this is all just rumors and speculations for right now. But I think this old post may hold some merit because it was sort of hinting towards the Nintendo Switch, but it wasn't a fully known thing back in the past, back in 2014. So I would love to know your opinions, guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Waffle Rallet. Have a good day, and bye-bye.